Maggots, Michael.
I love you.
I know.
So live.
We're live. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Nerdy Up North podcast. It's a nerdy podcast hosted by another nerds. I am one of your hosts, Sam.
I am the other host, Paul, for the time being. We are joined by the majestic motherfucker himself, the guy whose hair changes more the times than Sammy changes underwear, which is quite often, shall we say, when she's wearing it, of course. We are joined by Lee, and as everyone did put the requests in the Discord, we have put him very close, or even inside Arnie's mouth.
Well, it's this hand
It's that
trying to
way.
figure out which way to go,
Oh,
just to
that way.
caress his face.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
hell.
Yeah.
I don't know which way do I turn my hand.
Yes.
Oh, everything's mirrored.
It's just-
Hello, Arnie. There we are.
There you go.
Ow. Ow.
Oh.
So- Yes. So we are joined by the majestic one. How are you, Lee? How is the top grump? Grump?
I'm good.
Are you sure?
Top Grumps is going well.
Is it?
It's just, yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter about the viewers. Me and Chris have fun, and
Hey, That's all
it's
that
just-
matters.
it's great every week.
I feel like me and Lee are like almost got the same hair color.
Yeah, my hair is changing every week. It's just every time I wash it, a bit more of the colours like fading out. Underneath all this, it's full on orange ginger, and it's ridiculous.
How often do you wash your hair,
Not
Lee?
looking forward. A few times a week.
A few times? Is that once a day? 3 times a day? 7
No,
times a
probably
week?
like one. Probably once every other day.
So now we need Hair Care by Lee. A new episode coming soon.
My
But
God,
yes.
that's more times than I wash mine. I need to wash mine once a week. Jesus.
Yep, we are scruffs up north. You can tell.
I've got red hair. I can't afford to be bloody washing it all the time. Hello to everyone in the chat. Hope
Yes.
you're having a lovely Sunday and ready for this movie because hey, it's something.
Don't you dare start that slander as we speak now. But
Listen,
yes,
my next episode of Monsters is Frankenhooker. I've got no room to talk.
keeping it classy up north. That's the new thing. But yes, talking about classy, you've got Donna on your episode next week, haven't you, Lee? On Top Grumps.
Yeah. I think this might be our most offensive episode so far, and we have had to beep parts out.
Yes.
I blame
Wow.
Donna.
I did have to tell you off because Lee posted something to us this week. He was like, Paul, would this be okay going out? And he sent us a video. I was like, no, it will not.
I hate to think what it was.
Yes, we will not be mentioning it.
It wasn't that bad, but
Are you
it's probably
trying to
best
get
not
my
to speak
YouTube
about
channel?
it.
Are you trying to get my YouTube channel shut down?
No, it's pre-recorded, so I thought I'll see what I can get away with and just check before it goes out. And Paul's went, no. So it's okay.
Yeah, I think it even sounds more offensive now that you put the bleeps in, though. That's the scary thing.
Yeah.
But yes.
Well, everyone will have to wait till Tuesday for that little gem, because today we're doing The Running Man.
Very much. Yeah, so
Yeah.
keep running.
Hello, cutie pie. One of us is in deep shit.
Well, I tell you what, before we get into any deep shit, I'm going to do the disclaimer and then we're going to crack on into The Running Man.
The running man.
So, everything discussed in today's episode is our opinions and our opinions alone. If you'd like to discuss anything from today's episode, please come and join us on the Facebook page. You can join us on the Nerdy Up North Discord or the comment section where we can have an open discussion. But what we won't have is anyone coming for us and telling us our opinions are wrong, because we can all agree to disagree in fandom. So let's keep it fun, keep it kind, and keep the toxic behaviour out of nerdism.
Very well said. So I've noticed as well, if you're an avid listener or watcher of Monsters Up North, Sammy has changed a title. Like has she had a New Year's midlife crisis, or
I did.
now she's in charge of the YouTube channel? Has she taken on all this different forms of different kind of ways now?
Oh,
So what's with the change, Sammy?
I just, for some reason, I didn't want to continue with the Mistress of Ceremonies. So I was like, but it sounds weird now that I'm not saying it. Because I'm just like, I'm your host. And that's it.
So
yeah, but it must be weird getting called mistress on and off camera, to be fair.
So let's have a little game, guys. Let's get the community involved. So if you're watching back now, we're going to give you a few days to come up with a few new names that Sammy can call herself in the Discord. So if you post this in the Monsters section on the Nerdy Up North Discord, let's see what Sammy's new name can be. So let's see what the reprobates, and let's get Sammy to try and test them out either next week on the Nerdy Up North podcast or on the next Monsters episode, which will be out next week. So let's play a game.
Okay, I agree. I'll do it. If you come up with a decent one, I'll use it.
Right.
Sammy, you know what? It just in my phone as death.
Oh, I'm not going to disappoint you with this one either, because I do have a couple of death things in this episode too. But what I have though is the taglines, and it kind of threw us when I looked at them, because I was like, why are the year 2019 is obviously where this movie is set. This is the future. This is the dystopian future. Is 2019.
Yes.
So the year is 2019. The finest man in America don't run for president. They run for their lives. Welcome to America in 2019. When the best men don't run for president, they run for their lives. A game nobody survives, which Schwarzenegger has yet to play. It's the year 2019. The Running Man is a deadly game. No one has ever survived, but Schwarzenegger is yet to play. And the last one. 2019. A game nobody survives. This might be the exception.
Oh God, they're really well running out of like taglines or how to promote this movie, weren't they?
It's the same thing. Oh, they are brilliant. They're actually really good. Yeah, Running Man 2019, not when it was released. Actually, It was released in 1987.
The year I was born.
So
turn his camera off.
To be fair, it's only 5 years, so it's not too bad. Like I say, it's not like some of the young stallions that we have on.
I was going to say, my sister's not even on 1987. My sister isn't even born yet. So,
Lee, you are the king of the Arnold Schwarzenegger movies, the action 80s guru, as we will forever name you now. As soon as we wanted to do a bit of 80s trash, 80s, like say, I wouldn't say trash, sorry, that's doing this a disservice. A little bit of 80s action, you were like, please, I'm not going to speak to you, can I come on? So why do you love this movie so much, Lee?
I watched this as a kid, probably 7-year-old, just reading the video cupboard for all the recorded VHS sets. And this was one of them, and I watched this so many times as a kid. And it was one of the best films that I remember seeing as a child. Looking back now, it's like, God, this movie's so cheesy and ridiculous. But it has everything that an action movie needs. It's got all the cheesy one-liners. It's got bright coloured 80s spandex. All of the sort of thug-looking people outside with the 80s hairdos, and there's too many mustaches in the film, though.
Oh, definitely. It's like Jesse the Body Ventura is amazing in this movie. One of the highlights.
We even get Arnie with a mustache at one point, but it's just like a throwaway bit in a camera, and he's got his little porn tash.
Oh, Jesse the Body Ventura looks absolutely fantastic. But what I found funny when I was doing a little bit of reading on this is that they had to. This is the first time you'll ever see this how big Jesse is compared to Arnie, because in Predator they used to make them act away from each other, so it looked like Arnie was bigger than him, but in reality Jesse towers over him.
Oh, 100%. Like his old wrestling days as well. But
I mean, Jesse's only like a few inches taller than Arnie, and that's the only thing that he's got over him for being bigger. No, not that, Paul. So while they were doing Predator, Arnie had a competition with Jesse where they measured they measured the biceps to see who would have the bigger one. And whoever lost had to buy the other one like an expensive bottle of champagne or whiskey or something like that. But Arnie had already been in the wardrobe fitting thing, saying like, "Oh, who's got bigger arms, me or Jesse?" And they were like, "Oh, yours are definitely bigger by like 3 inches or something." And he was like, "When Jesse comes in, tell him his are bigger than mine."
right.
So then when Arnie went and was like, "Oh, let's do this competition," he already knew he'd won.
Right.
Oh.
He got a free bottle of champagne out of it.
Apparently they said they had a really good relationship, like, because this is like their third film together.
So was this Commando as well he was in, wasn't it? I'm thinking sure it was Commando. Was it Commando? Might be a different one. I can't remember. But
I can't remember. I definitely think it's 3 though, from what I was reading.
But yeah, it's quite interesting take on this movie. When I watch this back now, and like you do get a different vibe from it from when you watch it as Lee said, as a young person. Because you just remember like the exciting violence and stuff, but like the element and like the throwaway lines or the kind of political state that this movie is set in is so telling. And I think it's quite interesting that we're picked today to do this movie, especially with what happened in America. That's kind of just through the Americans, like TikTok, like say one of the biggest like platforms for influencers or social media, was banned by America for a few hours. It's just been unbanned,
just being
put back up. And again, like the premise of this movie is like the government and everything is not in power. It's the person who runs the TV station is the most power and has the most pull over everyone. And with America now having one of the most biggest reality TV scumbags in charge now again, it's like the 80s were telling us something. It's like America did not get the lesson that these kind of films like this is very much in the same wavelength as RoboCop type thing.
Yeah, absolutely. You're 100% right. It freaked me out when Richard Dawson picks up the phone and is like, "I need to speak to the chief and commander of entertainment." Like it was like so bizarre. But this film was kind of ahead of its time in so many different ways as well, especially with AI deep fakes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because that, you know, in the 80s and 87, people are laughing at this going, "Oh God, they'll never be able to do something like that." We know now that that's not the case at all.
I don't know. Like, there's a lot of scary coincidences in this movie, and not just the movie, in the book itself, because the book is by Stephen King, but it was done under the pseudonym Richard Bachman in 1982. I know the movie set in 2017, but the book was set in 2025.
Yes. Did I
There's
write anything?
loads is different to the book.
Oh,
they're currently filming a remake based on the actual book version with Glenn Powell and Josh Brolin, which I think will be really good. It's not set in a game. It's someone goes in and says that they would like to participate in the Running Man, and they get to travel anywhere in the world, and they get given like $5,000 to do whatever they want. And for every day that you survive, you get like 50 grand or something.
Yeah, I've got the plot here. So it describes Ben very differently. That he's kind of like scrawny. He's got a sick wife. And he does decide to go into the Running Man for the contest that you were just mentioning. But in this one, he ends up like going back to Derry, Maine. because like we all know that's where where Stephen King normally ends up, his characters. But yeah, the Stephen King bit, so it threw me a little bit because I was like, this is a Stephen King. I know this is a Stephen King book. And then when I was watching it on Friday, I was like, who the fuck is Richard Bachman? Like,
Right.
why do I know that name? And two, I
Yeah.
was second guessing myself. I was like, shit, have I been like saying this wrong the whole time? So then I Googled, like, obviously doing me notes for this, and I was like, oh no, that is Stephen King. He was very adamant that he wanted the Bachman name kept in because he used it in the book. He wanted it used in the film.
Yeah.
So he didn't want to distinguish between the two and confuse people.
No, definitely. And Stephen, like he's my best man.
Hey.
But Stephen King is quite protective of certain things, like especially the Richard Bachman stuff. Like I don't think it was known for years that it was Stephen King till, like say, he let it out there. I could be wrong.
That's crazy.
But yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think we said in a previous episode when we mentioned like movies and like The Running Man, and I was saying this movie is perfect for a revamp, a remake, because it is cheesy. It is, but cheesy in a good way. But
yeah,
this is one of them movies now you could do now. It wouldn't be an improvement on the first one, but it would be still enjoyable. Like I think that's where, because it's, I think a lot of people get worried about remakes and it's trying to outdo the original. It's like no, it's just telling a different story. I think this would be quite an interesting take, especially with the amount of reality TV shows we've got now.
Yes.
I think Black Mirror took the piss out of like that type of format as well for in one of those episodes, which was quite interesting.
This is less like the Running Man book and more like this film got sued or something for, there was a 1983 movie, like it was a Spanish movie or something called like The Prize something, which was contestants have to go into an arena and face off against 5 stalkers, and they would win like millions of dollars for surviving, but that was in 1983.
I know, but the idea is not lost. Like, it's not groundbreaking idea. Like the Hunger Games, look at
Squid Games
and Battle Royale. The idea of this kind of game is not. It's just how you tell it.
Yeah.
How it comes across. What I found very interesting is the cast. Especially one individual who I thought was fucking fantastic was Richard Dawson, who played Damien Killian.
Yeah.
Richard, if you guys don't know who Richard Dawson is, he was the host of the American version of Family Feud. When he did it from 1976. He is a family known name. Like he is the nice man that everyone, you know, he's in your house every week and that, and like the Americans loved him. But apparently, according to people who worked with him on Family Feud, they said you couldn't have wrote Damon Killian any closer to the actual real Richard Dawson if they tried.
Wow.
They said he was a nightmare. But this is Richard Dawson's last movie. He went out on this. And also the guy who played Dynamo.
Yeah.
You Call Me Death, Lee, and there is a reason. Arland van Litz died 2 months after filming this movie of a heart attack.
It's a proper shame because like it'll be. I don't want my last thing that people remember me for is trying to climb on top of a woman and then being electrocuted whilst wearing a pair of white Y-fronts.
I thought it was a nappy. I did think it was a nappy.
But that is genuinely him singing. He was a trained opera singer as well. That's what he was famous for.
I was dying to get some Christmas lights out and wrap myself up in them and put some cling film around my head with them on and be like, oh! But I thought I might get electrocuted if I'm plugged into a wall.
No, luckily. Well, to be fair, everyone's waiting in bated breath because I've got a Millennium Falcon hanging over my head at the moment. So I think everyone's just tuning in to see when I'm going to die. So not long, guys. It's not long.
God. Another. I want to try and get rid of my laptop as quickly as I can because I forgot I haven't plugged my charger in. The dance sequence by them stunning ladies who look like they're not dancing to the music that is actually being played, was choreographed by none other than Paula Abdul.
All right. Interesting.
Yeah. Yes, Paula was very well known in the 80s for her choreographic music. So yeah,
good song.
The footage that's shown in the footage of the attack in helicopters is actually from King Kong in 1976.
Right, okay.
And to be honest, I think that's all mine. Oh no, I've got one more note, and I'll wait.
Oh, it sounds like it's an impressive note.
It impressed me because I genuinely didn't know that this was the person who it was meant to be. I didn't know that was Mick Fleetwood.
Right.
It wasn't until I did my notes. I was looking at his face all the way through the movie going, why do you look familiar? And then when I did my notes, Fleetwood Mac.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. Wow. I got a shock too. I was like, oh, what? Like, I had no idea that was Mick Fleetwood. But apparently, according to fans, they think that Mick Fleetwood is actually playing himself.
All right.
Because his name is Mick. Right. In the film, and he actually says, "You're one of the cops who locked up all my friends and burnt my songs."
Right.
So they think that it's the real, like, Mick Fleetwood is just playing Mick Fleetwood in the future. Right, I can shut this down now. I've got nothing.
We get like quite a few. Well, there's a few wrestlers as well, isn't there? Because I mean, you need some big guys to like match up to Arnie's size as well.
What wrestlers? I only knew Jesse in there.
Professor Tanaka, wasn't he a wrestler as well, wasn't he?
All right. I didn't know that.
Sub-Zero?
Yeah,
Sub-Zero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, what's the pun he does afterwards? Sub-Zero. Now.
You know, Sub-Zero. Now, Plane Zero.
Plane Zero. I wanted to actually get all of these little puns. Would you class them as puns?
Yeah, there's like one-liners, isn't it?
One-liners, yeah.
Let's coin it Arnieisms.
Arnieisms, that's right. When it comes to alternative casting as well, we all know from the Superman episode that if you've watched it, if you didn't, please go and watch it. I am incredibly proud of that episode. That Christopher Reeves was once attached to this movie.
Yeah.
Along with another person who I probably think would actually pull it off as well. I think we'd still be talking about this movie the same way if this actor had done it. And it was Dolph Lundgren.
Yeah,
that would be interesting.
I feel like we would be having the same conversation if Dolph was the main character and it wasn't Arnie.
I don't think it would probably be held in as not to do Dolph Lundgren down. I think there's more star power and it gives more to his role. Like because Arnie,
I think the one line to be wasted on him, wouldn't there?
Yeah, I think Arnie the film adds so much to this movie at times as well. Because like there's little bits that could have wouldn't have worked if it wasn't Arnie in that chair. Like the bit where they're taking off the necklaces that's got like which was such a great premise, which has been copied or could have been copied off other things, and he's just sitting there and they're talking about like as they said, Sammy said, sorry, you're a cop, you've shut down, you've took away my music and stuff like that, and he just lights up his cigar and just like there's no cells and just like fuck you, just take it off, blow me head off if you don't care.
Yeah, it's the necklace. It's Battle Royale, isn't it? Didn't have them on in Battle Royale?
Yeah,
I love that film. I really want to watch that again. It did make me want to go and watch The Hunger Games and Battle Royale because, like I say, this concept of the game. You know, the game of killing for sport is not it's not lost on pop culture. It's just how it's told is different.
No, that's like so you can tell the story a million different ways, and some ways will work. Something I do think there's probably a weird sick like part of humanity that likes to see people put in these type of situations. And I watched a documentary today, over the last 2 days, that kind of inflamed that, the Jerry Springer one on Netflix.
I actually watched that after this.
Yeah, it kind of showcases like the bloodthirstiness and what you think of general public or people are humane and stuff. No, people just want to see like bloodshed. People want to see violence. People want to see
the worst.
Yeah, they want to see the worst in people.
I watched that documentary
Would you watch The Running Man if it was on the
No,
telly in real life?
no, I was actually going to ask you guys that very question. Would you have watched it? Because for me, that is so messy. It's all over the place. It's like it looks like a charity night, you know, like where they've got people in one area and people over here, and it just it was so no. I wouldn't watch it. It was messy as anything.
I don't know how it was like such a long-standing show, because they've said as we go through the plot,
Well,
there's
the Kardashians has like 15 seasons.
Oh.
However,
no,
I would rather be in the dystopian future watching The Running Man
I've
than
got
stuck in this one.
There's a point to me comment though, because they've said that only 2 people survived what didn't survive, or they said 2 people survived The Running Man. Most people die in the first round, so it's not really a TV show when it's like going up against a bad guy, killed, and it's like, yay, he's died. Sponsor us, please. It's like a 15-minute episode type thing.
It's just live executions. Like Starship Troopers does the same, doesn't it? Where it's like, oh, this person's been caught robbing somewhere. See the execution live tonight, the date. I think it's Starship Troopers.
No, you're right. You're spot on.
I think there isn't somewhere in the human psyche that there is that bloodthirst that sits amongst people. I don't, because like people would go to like public executions and stuff like that. It would be like I've finished The Green Mile the other night, and I watched it, the movie, straight afterwards. And yeah, they have in the book, he was describing how you would have about 30-40 people coming to an execution.
I think if you normalize something to the extent, and again, I'm going to say something that might trigger people, so again, I do apologize. Like, say, this is me doing a trigger warning. But if you look at, like, say, the rise in internet pornography over the last 10 years, well, not even 10 years, 5 years, how they had to look at banning violent porn, rape porn, looking at, like, say, anyone that, like, kind of wasn't given the consent, or even pretending there wasn't given consent. That kind of, like say, because it was starting to desensitize people to the point where sexual assault was coming more regular. Like, these type of acts were, and again, studies were showing that you can be desensitized to a lot of it, like, stuff, because of what you watch. So if you think about watching The Running Man, if at the first it would have been, oh, this is shocking, but using as a tool for the government, and they even said the rather people watch TV than go into the voting booths. Like in this movie, I'm sure it's a line in the movie. Court.
It speaks volumes, doesn't it?
And one of the guys that was arrested, I've forgotten his name. The black guy. I can't remember his name now. What was he called?
Hang on, I've got it wrote down somewhere. Laughlin.
William Laughlin. Yeah. He was like, I think Arnie makes a joke saying, "Oh, keep out of trouble. Don't teach homeless people the Constitution." So he was arrested because he was trying to teach people the Constitution. So it's kind of like, this is such a dystopian and a state, like a nanny state that's controlled. But you can understand how people get to that levels if you show people like forms of entertainment, just say this is okay. Even though in your mind, the first time you watch it, you'll go, oh, this is not right. The second time you watch it, you might go, oh, the third time you might go, okay, I'm just going to keep watching. Because they keep telling you that it's okay to watch this.
Yeah.
Like, where's the line of things? But yes.
I'm quite glad that...
I'm quite proud I did a trigger warning.
Yeah, well done. I'm quite glad that my brain is wired differently. Because I don't get desensitized. I get way too sensitive about certain videos, to the point where I have to have certain words in social media to stop me from being able to see these certain videos, because I can't physically take it. So I'm like the complete opposite. Like, I just become incredibly more sensitive. It's the dodo. I can't have the dodo on anything. It can't pop up on anything, because it takes me into a whirlwind of, I don't want to use the word depression, because I've never suffered from depression, but kind of like, it's sadness, a beyond sadness. Okay. And I don't like it.
And Lee looks like a man that's desensitized to a lot of... You've seen some shit, haven't you, Lee? You can tell you've seen some shit in your time.
I don't know. I was like confused before when you were talking, because I'm trying to still figure out what this pornography thing is that you speak of. No, I'm definitely desensitized.
That's probably like the most innocent thing you've ever said.
What is the boobies in porn?
What is the
If
boobies?
if you saw the stuff that Chris sends me, you would realize why I'm desensitized.
Yeah,
I've seen
Chris's fault.
what about 2% of what Chris sends you, and I'm good. Like
It
I'm not
gets
like
worse.
I'm not like a proper sensitive soul. Like this. Lee knows out of everyone the stuff that I have on my phone. And so I'm not like, but there's certain
Like-
things in this world that do like make me very sensitive.
Like, oh, do you want to see some crime scene photos, Lee? Oh yeah, sure. Oh, here's a
I had a
folder
whole
with
Google
3,000 photos in.
There's a whole Google Drive.
Right, so Operation Death now is coming. So the police are going to knock on Sammy's door for all the snuff movies.
It's all right.
saves.
I sent them to Lee. It's okay.
How do you think they were arrested at the time? But yeah, it's such an interesting premise, and how this plays out as well, because it's like a cross between a lot of different movies. Like a lot of different Arnie like things. Like there's like elements of like blood sport in this as well, especially like the AI scene that you mentioned where Jesse the Body Ventura and Arnie face off in like what's meant to be like a cage match to the death, and it's just the brutality, and I think the brutality of the 80s as well, when they use like the sound effects and like things when it comes to like the death scenes. Not one of them is like a nice like off the screen type thing where you can make your mind up. Like the first one, he comes up against Sub-Zero. He not only does he like choke him out, he chokes him out with barbed wire, which is just and the way it plays out is like he's standing there and he's kind of like in shock, and then he's like lifts his hand away and a little split of blood, like because he's.
Why is his fingers squirting though?
Don't know. That's where basically.
I'm wondering whether like his hands got caught in the barbed wire and his fingers have came off or something. But there's blood squirting out of his hands, and it's like, how did that happen?
It's like Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warrior style, where it's like chopping his fingers off.
Dream Warriors. You can't say Dream Warriors without singing the song. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. But again, it is an Arnie movie, like by the numbers. When it comes to it, it's like everything plays out. You can see from the start who's going to live, who's going to die. Arnie gets the girl in the end, which again is hilarious. But she plays an interesting part as well, I thought.
She is so fucking annoying. I recognised her straight away. And I couldn't quite place it. And I was talking to Ant while I was making a cup of tea, and I was like, "Is she from Predator?" And he went, "No, you're getting your people mixed up." He tried to make out that I was being racist about it. I was like, "I really am not. Like, she really does." And he went, "The completely different races." I was like, "Oh." Right. And then I went and Googled it, and I was like, "Anthem was Predator 2. You could have just said she's in Predator 2, you dick." But yeah, she not annoyed us, but some of her acting choices were choices. Especially when she's been given the code.
Yeah.
I honestly could have if that was me trying to give someone a code and they're being fidgety and they don't know where to look. She's not looking at him. She's not actually looking at the camera. She's like looking just above it. It's so weird, the choices she makes there. But she fidgets.
A run. When she gets out the thing and she does the Phoebe run.
How would you run in that situation? Like if you were,
would you be like the Terminator?
Like Usain Bolt.
Like Usain Bolt. I said the most Geordie thing you've ever said.
Bless him. But yeah, I don't think I would last very long in like these type of situations.
No, I'm dead like in the first few seconds. And the funny thing is, I'd probably end up doing something to myself in order to kill me. Like, it wouldn't be anyone else doing it. Like, I'm that stupid. I would end up getting myself killed.
Okay.
I think I'd get past Professor Sub-Zero at least.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Well, I played ice hockey for like 18 years or something like that, so I'm pretty good on the ice, and I probably would have.
Okay. Okay.
Lee's a pro skater now.
He wasn't that good. I would have got him.
So, out of the stalkers, as they were called, who was your favourite out of them? because there was some interesting characters. Because you had Sub-Zero, you had Buzzsaw, you had Dynamo. Then you had what was the flamethrower guy called?
Fireball.
Fireball. And then you had Captain Freedom, which was Jesse the Ventura. But like the styles of them, I thought Dynamo was probably the best one. I was probably more scared of Buzzsaw because like someone's running around with a titanium like chainsaw that could cut through anything that they kept on saying.
The minute you said that, though, all I could think of was Randy Savage. Bone saws ready.
What about you, Lee? What was your favourite?
See, Jesse Ventura would be my favourite, but he wasn't. He didn't really do any stalking because of the AI thing. Yeah. So realistically, Buzzsaw.
Buzzsaw. What was yours, Sammy?
I was Dynamo.
You know, Dynamo. You like the weird singing light bulb.
He was just. It felt like he was all over the place. Like there was no consistency to him whatsoever, and I was like, "Oh, I'm here for this. I like this."
What was with his car, man? It looked like. Do you know when Homer Simpson designs a car? It was like Homer Simpson had to design a car like he does in the show, but he had to base it on the Back to the Future car.
I heard Elon Musk based his car on the design. No, that's just me making shit up now.
I was going to say, because he never designed shit. He just bought Tesla. He just bought the name Tesla. What was I going to say? All the outfits that the stalkers wore were just Adidas tracksuits with the Adidas thing ripped off them.
Right, okay.
Arnie's had the Adidas on his arm as well.
I didn't say that one.
Yeah, the stalkers had them as well. They just ended up ripping them off so they could distinguish between. They obviously got a lot of clothes from Adidas.
What did you think? Again, I know we're jumping all over in this episode because
can you really keep a consistent run with Running Man?
Just run on through. But if you at the start where we got the Ben Richards's like almost like origin story, how he ended up in jail and stuff.
Yeah.
That whole helicopter and like how he
the civilians.
Bakersfield.
Yeah.
The butchers of Bakersfield. Isn't that an actual serial killer?
Possibly, could be now. It could be Lee's new nickname, the Butcher of Benfield.
I'm gonna Google this because I was meant to do this the other day. I'm sure I've heard that name before, but that opening sequence in the helicopter, Arnie's so stiff in it.
Yeah,
they're civilians.
That was the whole thing, and then his whole platoon kind of turned on him because he wouldn't obey the order. It's like, is there only one guy with a little bit of balls or a little bit of morals in that type of situation?
They didn't seem close anyway, to be fair. Like, none of them were speaking to each other in the helicopter. It was very, like, like Nazi regime kind of, like, just silent, do your job, don't think sort of thing.
Survive.
No.
Yeah.
It's not a serial killer.
Right.
It's just Ben Richards.
Ben Richards.
What was
you literally Google it and it's Ben Richards.
Are we not thinking of Dexter, the butcher of
Bayfield Butcher?
Yeah, possibly.
Might have.
Yeah.
Might be somewhere in the subconscious.
It's Sammy's new serial killer name she'll be debuting next year when she starts taking the victims, when people start disappearing randomly, and to say, oh, where's this person gone? The butcher did it. Sammy the butcher.
Do I have to wait till next year? Can this just not happen now?
the butcher, that is the Bryce Butcher. But yeah,
Butcher Bryce. My dad's a baker who works in the butchers. There's my origin story.
You heard it here first now. Jesus Christ. But yeah, it's a weird movie. Like, the soundtrack was terrible. Like, normally I'd love an 80s soundtrack, but this
Wash your mouth out.
Oh, it was bad, this one.
Oh no, the end song was amazing.
The end song's so 80s.
So good. I ended up leaving the credits on just to listen to it all the way through. Oh no, I thought the soundtrack, that was the one thing I took away from this. The soundtrack's amazing.
Me and Sammy's showing our different tastes now. But yeah, it wasn't up to the normal 80s standard, but yeah, I think you mentioned it before. The quips were brilliant. Like, any little thing, yeah. Arnie had a chance to do a quip. I think one of them where they were in the zone, and Amber was kind of like complaining, saying, "Oh, we need to get out of here. Like, I could really do going to Hawaii." And he was like, "We would have been there if you didn't mess up." It's just like, whoa.
Like I had the shirt ready.
But it's so weird, this movie at times, because it there has elements to it, and it kind of just glosses over some of the most horrific elements to it as well. It's like Arnie gets into his brother's flat, and the code doesn't change apparently because the code just stays the same.
Oh.
And he's sitting there waiting for his brother to come home, and like Amber arrives, and he's like, "Oh, where's my brother?" And she's like, "Oh, the person who lived here before got taken away for re-education," I think it said. And
Yeah.
and that was the last you heard of it. It was like, fuck.
Yeah.
It's like, that's your
You
brother,
just
Arnie.
accepted it.
Are you bothered about this? Is it
No,
upsetting
you just accepted it. He was like, "No, okay.
Yeah.
Let me
One of the
kidnap you instead."
One of the most horrific bits just was so unfeasible in the whole movie of Chico from the prison trying to run past the line of the prison, and everyone's like, "No, stop! It's not ready yet." And then his head just pops, and it's like, Jesus Christ!
That was good practical
Ouch.
effects or that. Like how the,
Yeah, well,
the
this
head
is-
pop and scene.
This is 80s at its finest when it comes down to practicality, like in doing the practical effects. I love the set design as well, especially of the show, and the difference between the show and the studio at the top as well. Like I think the set design on this was fantastic. The apartment that she was in was so 80s. It reminded me so much of the apartment from They Live. Like I was like, is this what 80s American apartments look like?
Hopefully, we can always go back. But can we just spend a few moments admiring the fitness video that she put on, and Jossie the body Ventura just telling
my
everyone to work out,
God.
but not just working out. Every so often, coming on the screen going, "Ah!" Then just running away. That was just absolutely comedy gold. Like how he kind of embodied, embraced. Because at this moment, you would like watching, going, because like the premise, you think, is this a horror? Is it an 80s action?
Yeah.
Is it a
Where are
fucking
we?
comedy? Where am I now? Like, this is just a
Yeah.
complete piss take.
That was absolutely fair. Just imagine, like we are from an era, I don't know about Lee, but we definitely, me and Paul, are from an era where we used to have a lot of like fitness people on our morning telly. The
Mr.
main one
Motivator.
was Mr. Motivator, exactly.
Oh, Mr. Motivator, man, he was class.
Imagine having Jesse the Body Ventura as this character as your morning fitness wake up call. Like that would be fantastic. Like why are we living in that world?
It would be a lot better than what we got. Like Mr. Motivator was too skinny. America had people like Richard Simmons, man.
Richard Simmons
Who's-
with that hair.
Who's he
what
teaching?
A guy. Richard Simmons, what a guy. He was such a sweet little he was adorable. Apparently the nicest person in the world, by the way.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
He got the piss took out kind of bit on The Simpsons quite a lot, but yeah.
He did, but you know what? He had such an excellent sense of humor about it. Didn't care. He didn't care. He used to be one of those people, you know what, when they're on the maps, the Hollywood maps, and the buses would go past, he would come out and like greet everyone and have like a little gift for them and that. He was just so grateful that he was actually on the map. Oh, Richard Simmons, what a guy. Anyways, run a man.
There is one other TV show that we haven't mentioned yet, because there's 3 shows get mentioned in this whole movie. There's The Running Man, there's Jesse the Ventura's fitness show, and then there's Climbing for Dollars.
Climbing for Dollars.
That looks like one of the worst ones.
Did the Climbing for Dollars, was the guy who was climbing it because he looked like the bad guy out Commando?
Oh, I don't know.
Because
I wasn't really like paying attention to his face. It was like, oh my god, the ducks are gonna get him.
I saw his tats. I was like, I recognise that. It looked like the kid, you know, the guy who Arnie puts a pipe to and let off some steam.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was him, but I could be wrong. But it was just, as you said, climbing that. Like the premise of this show is, the higher you go up, the more dollars you get. But if you fall, you get ravaged by pit bulls.
That seems like one of the worst ones, because it's not even like prisoners or anything that are being going in. It's just people that are desperate. Like, that desperate for money, they're willing to die by being ripped apart by dogs just to make a few quid.
Maybe that's
the
where we're
dystopian world.
That's where we're going wrong in Nerdy Up North. Because we're trying to embrace and talk about things, like, just have, like, say, a conversation. Maybe we have to go to these lengths. We maybe have to create a Nerdy Up North Hunger Games, like a Nun Games, So we can like say
Oh, boy, I'm out in round one.
put some sausages in Lee's back pocket, and then set all the Nerdy Up North dogs after him. Like you can
Have you seen the Nerdy Up North dogs, man? None of them are going to do out. What? Kaiser's sleeping half the time. Bear
tiny. Would rip your Bear would rip your throat out. I've seen that dog.
Bear would like for a sausage, he would gun for you.
Yeah,
Bear's to death.
Nova would type on your face. But yes.
Yeah, the Nerdy Up North dogs. No, the cats would probably be a better choice because mine would kill you.
Attach
I'd definitely be more worried about Binks and Loki coming after us.
It's Beatrice you want to be worried about.
But attach some like some catnip or
catnip. Put some catnip in Lee's hair and just see what happens.
But yeah, that would be quite entertaining, I think.
Why are we using Lee as a pawn?
It's just
because I'm stupid enough to do these things.
He's the one that bathed in a bath of gravy. What other things could we do? Like, if we're not getting chased by dogs, we could say how long you can last in the North Sea, like without getting hypothermia or something like
that. Apparently, Jake in the chat is saying that you're a little quiet compared to us two, Paul.
It's all right. They're just two gobby people. That's fine.
Do you know what? This is probably the most chatty I've ever heard Lee, to the point where I don't think we're going to get to the end of the episode and Lee list off a load of shit that he's forgetting to say.
No, I don't have that many notes. I've wrote the plot of the movie just so that I've got reminders the movie of
I always do that. I always have like the director and that, but on this one I was like, do you know what? Let's just talk about it. I wanted to get all my shite out the way with and move my laptop.
I was over the moon that the mall cop from Mallrats got another job.
The Forge.
Yeah, he played Richard Simmons' bodyguard.
Shut up! How did I not see that?
Wait, what?
That's class.
Yeah.
Who's bodyguard?
So Richard Simmons, I'm sure
Richard Dawson.
Richard Dawson's Richard
Simmons. That's what I was thinking. Oh right, yeah, Sven.
Yeah, Sven.
But I think at the end he's like, I can't help you. I need to go buy some steroids.
Yes.
So good call.
Yes, but what did you think of the ending though as well? Like Arnie, like kind of joining the resistance, which was always going to happen because he was got these kids can't do it themselves. They need
resistance.
They need some leadership. So he kind of helps them take over the studio, and she remembers one of the longest codes that in the world that I would not have remembered. She must have had a good memory, bless her.
Even though she was.
I know it ends in 1717-4.
Oh,
that's all I remember.
Wow.
So Lee is
that
the one
was
that
impressive.
Can save us. But yeah, and then by getting like I said, the Damon character and put him in the tube. I don't know. I think there should have been a better death than just to fire him out the tube. Because to be fair, even if he got fired out, he would have survived.
Do you not think it felt a bit rushed? Like we've just done the game, now we're going to go and take over the whole studio and save the day kind of thing, and break down this capitalist world that they've created, or dictatorship, or however way that they're looking at it, in a matter of a few seconds.
And it was a bit weird though as well that the video that they chose to release was like the actual footage of Ben Richards trying to not kill these people. Like, how was that going to change the perspective or change people's viewpoint on?
People already started to like Ben Richards up until that point. Like the old woman.
The old woman.
Ben Richards, that boy is one mean motherfucker.
Do you know what is so telling though of how quickly people can change their minds? Because the minute he comes on, he's booed, he's jeered, and then halfway through they're starting to love him. Isn't it crazy how we can do that? Oh, there was one thing that I do remember from my notes. What this inspired was the American Gladiators.
All right.
Yeah, this is the inspiration, and we've seen the documentary of the American Gladiators. How fucking batshit crazy that was. But yeah, the obviously the stalkers and being the gladiators and contestants coming in, and they're just not killing each other.
Well, breaking each other's hips and stuff.
Who do you think had the worst death? Buzzsaw.
Oh, Buzzsaw, that was nasty. That like he could have chopped him anywhere, and he decided to go all the way up from
Groin
groin first, yeah. But it's such an Arnie
Nice.
move, though. That was the thing.
He had to split.
He had to split. I'm surprised this movie
That's
didn't.
such a goofy laugh. I'm so sorry.
I'm surprised this movie didn't get a sequel, though.
Do you reckon?
Because there was a lot of things to go. Because, as you said, I know the government's flowed up, like kind of like thing, but there's a lot of TV stations. There's a lot of different shows. They could have like brought different elements to it as well, and they didn't really like say go into it as much as I kind of wanted them as well.
They could have
Yeah.
really dragged it out. Like had like the first movie been, and do you know what? This is probably just my Hunger Games coming into it, like how much I love the Hunger Games, but like have the first game where the resistance starting to come together. The second one is the plans are getting put into place. The third one, it fucking just rips apart. Like, but again, I've just described Hunger Games.
I would prefer them to do this with the the film that's coming out soon. Like, it would be a lot better as like a 6-part miniseries or something like that.
Yeah,
because he's like dotting all over the world, like trying to like outrun
the
Josh Brolin or whoever's chasing him.
Oh, Thanos. Oh, okay.
So he's not just going to click his fingers, but yeah.
No.
Lazy bastard.
So
sorry.
I would have like to see it because like in the 80s, well, the 80s were Arnie's. Like, let's be honest, there's lots of different
Arnie's. This is
Arnie's like yeah, can't get the words out. The decade.
Arnie's
decade. That was the one. So this was kind of Arnie's decade for movies, and like.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh.
I've got wrote down. I've got a list of films.
Right.
So in the 80s, Arnie's big films were Conan, Terminator, Red Sonja, Commando, Predator, Running Man, Red Heat, and Twins. Stallone.
You know, out of all them movies, I've only seen 4.
Well, Stallone,
Sorry,
Rocky 3, Rambo: First Blood, Rhinestone, but we'll pretend that one didn't happen.
Like a roundstone cowboy. Go on.
First Blood Part 2, Rocky 4, Cobra, Over the Top, Rambo 3, Lock Up, and Tango and Cash. That's
6.
so many more than.
I know, but how many films were better than Arnie's though?
All of them, really.
Oh.
Well, right, so I think the 80s, I would give Stallone the 80s,
right.
But then we get to the 90s, and Arnie starts with Total Recall, Kindergarten Cop, Terminator 2, Last Action Hero, True Lies, and then he falls off a bit with like Junior.
I'm sorry, I'm not giving you Last Action Hero. Last Action Hero nearly killed his career.
It's terrible, but it's a bit of a cult classic now.
Oh, it bombed big style. It nearly took Arnie out. I think it was True Lies that brought Arnie back after Last Action Hero.
Yeah.
That shocks me. I really like that film.
But going into the 90s with Total Recall, Kindergarten Cop, and Terminator 2, Stallone going into the 90s with Rocky 5, Oscar, Stop or My Mum Will Shoot.
Fuck yeah.
He comes back up with Cliffhanger and Demolition Man, but then it like Judge Dredd comes out and everyone hated that, not myself.
I prefer Judge Dredd over Cliffhanger. Everyone loves Cliffhanger, but but the only reason people liked it because John Lithgow is a good bad guy in it. But
what's that one with it where he's in the subway? Me and Anth watched. I've seen that a couple of times now.
Daylight.
Yes, I love Daylight. Every time I go through the time tunnel, I always think of that. Me and Anth on Friday night watched Secret Level, which is the Amazon shorts, the video based on video games. It's like an anthology series of little mini stories of throughout video games, and there was one in particular actor whose voice you cannot just like get away from. You know exactly who that is. Arnie was actually in it. An episode was called New World: The Once and Future King, and he played King Almstrom. Oh my god, it was so funny. He went to a world where he couldn't die, but he was so big-headed he wanted to be king, so he kept on taking on the king, and the king ended up killing him, and he just kept going back to the beginning again. Oh, it was brilliant, and Arnie was so good in it. But yeah, Secret Level, good anthology video game stories.
So the question I was coming to when Lee perfectly did it perfectly. Give us
Sorry.
the list. No, it actually helps. So, out of the movies that you've just listed for Arnie, like say in the 80s, because as you said, it was a decade of destruction for Arnie. What would you say the Running Man lines up to his back catalogue? Because now I think a lot of people look at the Running Man in a lot more shiny, like look at it better than it probably was at the time. Because this wasn't a hit by any means of the when it came out.
So not.
No.
That was been right up people's
I would only
street.
put it as his third best film of the 80s.
Right.
Obviously, we've got Terminator and Predator,
Mm-hmm.
and you can't put it above those. So
Would
I would have to.
So you would say
go
this
there.
was better than Commando?
Yeah, Commando's terrible.
Ah, Commando's
I've never seen
He's shooting in one direction with his giant unnecessary gun, and somebody across the other side of the balcony dies.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what are you doing?
Commando's great. It's got one of the biggest kill counts in movie history, I think.
And the
Never
creepy
seen it.
opening of Arnie playing with deer and feeding deer and eating ice cream with his daughter and getting ice cream on his nose and be like, ow. Ice cream.
This does actually have a body count, has a kill count. It's quite impressive.
All right.
It's off the top of my head, it's beat a couple out on Monsters, like big franchise ones as well.
Right.
It was 41.
41.
Mm-hmm.
There's 36 of those not in the Butchersfield massacre though.
No,
Potentially. It still counts though.
If the Butchers failed because they said there was 80 kills in that.
It said 41 that I got from IMDb. You know, the source of all my knowledge and power. But I've never actually seen Commando.
Oh, Commando's a good one.
I've never seen.
It's like really cheesy. It's up there with Red Heat and stuff. But yeah,
never seen Red Heat either.
So let's get back to the ranking. Let's do a top grump style.
There is a question, so I want to ask Sammy this question because I think Sammy will give a better reaction to this.
Fuck you.
The original, no, you'll see why, because I know what your answer would be. I want to see what Sammy's answer would be. So Arnie is like, oh, how did you get hold of the original footage for the Bakersfield? And she's like, wouldn't you? Like, oh, where did you hide it? And she's like, oh, wouldn't you? Like, no. Sammy, where did she hide that cassette?
Probably not the place you're thinking of, because if you've got a decent rack, you can hide quite a few things underneath it.
Didn't have a massive rack or anything to hide it though.
Well, Lee, I think the question is, where do you want her to hide it, Lee? That's what I think.
Where do you think it's getting slotted up somewhere like a cassette?
Yes, definitely.
You do know that's not how that hole works, Lee.
Where else did she hide it? Either that or in a.
The question I'm going to ask:
I don't know.
Have you tried demonstrate with Bex to see what you could hide there? If you have, I'm going to phone the social services to get Bex out of that house right now.
No, it wasn't a very big cassette. It was only.
How big were we talking?
It was like that, wasn't it? Like when she was holding it up, she
couldn't fit that under her.
It was like an SD card.
Lee, where have you been hiding SD cards on your person?
Wouldn't you like to know? Give the same answer she did.
So let's have it like with us having the top grump. We've not got the secondary grump with Chris on this week. We've got.
Don't even have him in the chat either. He's left us.
Yes. What ranking are you giving the Running Man, Lee?
Out of
5.
5.
Giving it 5. So
yeah.
So this film could not be improved at all.
There's room for improvement.
Right.
But I hope you left enough room for my fist, because I'm going to ram it into your stomach and break your goddamn spine.
That was
I had to get that in somewhere.
Setups. That was amazing. The thing is, that was brilliant. Lee's right. There's room for improvement, but the question is, do you want that improvement because of how much this embodies the 80s when it comes down to action? And do you want to be able to take something out of it and lose that 80s feel? This is kind of what I'm looking at with monsters this year with 80s horror. This decade, I hate to say this because I've kind of always sat in the middle when, the whole debate of 80s and 90s, but the 80s has really kind of drawn me in. And I'm like, I want to stay here for a bit and I want to look at these films and kind of enjoy this decade.
Has me and Sammy to swap souls or something? Has she become?
What is happening?
Since I put her in charge of the Nerdy Up North YouTube channel, she is now turning into me, like through.
I think it's the Wizard of Oz, Paul. I think that's what happened. We kind of aligned, and I went, oh, maybe he's right.
I think there's something eye-catching about all of these like crazy colors in the 80s, the mad hairstyles, and just dirty synth music played over everything.
Yes, but doesn't it give you like that warm fuzzy feeling? Like it doesn't matter what movie you're watching from the 80s, that warm fuzzy feeling. And I wonder if it's because like I'm getting older, like I'm 42 this year, and I'm like looking back going, oh, didn't we have it so well?
And I think it goes back. I think it goes back to like what I've always like kind of like harped on like 80s movies, like especially like not just like the big budget ones, took a lot more risks. They were like, what can we make? Why? And it wasn't based on will this make money? Will this do well? It's kind of like let's go out there and tell this story. We want to tell this story. And again, it's like let's make an action movie. How much action can we put in? It's like how much action can we fit in? We don't have to worry about like an 18 certificate. We can have like, oh, now when they're making an action movie, it's like we have to make sure it's a 15 because we want as many people to see it. If we don't want that 18 rating, because a lot of movies now when they see the 18 rating, it's a death knell. It's like, oh, it's not going to make bank. It's not going to kind of be worth the like the studio's effort. So the pressure to get like 18s and 12s on like certain commercial movies wasn't back then. It was like, we're going to make this movie, you rate it, and we'll try and take some stuff out if it's too much. Because like I think at the time there was even X-rated, but not just for porn, but for certain movies that they got the X sign. This I think was rated as an 18 back in the day.
The movie that is being done for Monsters is an X-rated movie.
Right. See.
I mean, for probably other reasons than what you think, but it is. But that's you are so right when it comes to the 80s, and I know you've been shouting this for such a long time about the risk that they take, and I don't know if it's been the movies that I did last year for Monsters is kind of give us a bit of an eye opener and like realize what you've been saying, because there is a lot of risks that are taken and a lot of I'm going to make this because I love this. I'm not doing it for an audience, which is what you get now. A lot of things are like they look for audience approval and praises, where in the 80s they weren't. They were just like, I'm going to make this and I couldn't give a shit who likes it or not.
That's probably where I'm fucking up on Nerdy Up North. I'm making shit that I think I'm like, and this is what I like. Fuck everyone else who doesn't.
We don't bow down to the audience.
we are the 80s podcast that's not named after the 80s, but yeah, 80s Up North coming soon. No,
hey.
all Up Norths are getting banned and finished soon. Yeah.
Hey, that's a really good fucking idea, actually.
I do come up with a few decent ones, not from like by accident. I sure come up with top grumps as well, but just.
I mean, you named monsters.
Yeah. Because Lee was wanting to do an episode review and stuff, wasn't you, Lee? Doing like a Sunday episode, like talking about movies and stuff.
It wouldn't have been the same. It would have just been the same kind of style of me and Chris just taking the piss about things, and
so just
we do that in the same, but we've got a card at the end of the show.
I think it's you to a T. Like the whole card. Like if I think of Lee, I think of trading cards. And the amount of times I've shouted over him, shouted
Stop
at
buying
him.
them.
Over, yeah.
And we have to give like Lee an award as well. Like if we had the Nerdy Up North Awards as already best intro of the year for a podcast that he has created. So it is getting a following, an iconic following in its own right. So well done for that, Lee.
Well done. I don't know what he's talking about, but well done.
Have you not seen the opening where it's gets singing like in hair metal?
Oh yes. Do you know what? I've
Which
watched
one?
it
Because there's
probably-
two now.
I don't like the battle one. I prefer the
Oh, right.
I prefer you call him the shark ball.
Yes, yeah. I've watched that a few times on TikTok and thought it was absolutely hilarious, and then made me watch it, and I was like, I don't see that. No, actually, that's pretty funny.
Bless you. But yeah, I would probably give this movie a rating, if I were rating out of 5, a 3.5. As you said, it's fun. It's very much of its time.
0.5 did.
Yeah. It's a new year. It's a new me. I'm
It's a
breaking
new
all.
ratio.
I'm breaking all the rules these days. But yeah.
Ooh, you rule breaker.
But yes, I think like points it gets marked down for is because I wasn't vibing the soundtrack. There was a few sketchy moments like that could have been improved on. The ending wasn't perfect. It didn't seem to like stick the landing. It kind of stumbled for me. If we're talking gymnastics type of terminology, that's why I'd probably mark it down a little bit.
Okay.
The ending's probably better than what the book does.
From what I read,
I'm not. I don't want to give any spoilers.
Because of the show.
Well, not because there's a film coming out this year. I think it's this year it's coming out, but the ending's not good.
Oh, well, it is Stephen
Not like
King.
Stephen King.
No.
Oh, don't! I'm just starting it.
Yes.
I'm a few chapters in.
Oh well, you've getting past the first few chapters, which is always the hard part.
I've just finished the Adrian Mellon story.
Right.
So Georgie's dead.
Oh, poor Georgie. Hey, Georgie, want a balloon?
I can do that, but it's like I've got to build up to it, and then I can do Pennywise quite good. But yeah.
You heard it your first hit, guys. Sammy can do Pennywise good.
But apparently can't do English good, because that was terrible the way I just said that. Yes, so I am on track. I am actually ahead of where I thought I would be for it. Because I said I needed to make sure Green Mile was finished before the end of January. And I read it in a week, which is record for me.
My book's still not coming. I know I messaged Sonia and Kelly, the both in for that episode. We just need to get a date for it now. I did have a request this week. Well, not this week. It was a few days ago. Chris asked in the Discord what my Lego figure I was fidgeting with. So I'll give it exclusive.
Okay, what is it?
It is Dorothy. Little Dorothy.
Oh, wow.
You fidgeting with Dorothy, yeah?
Yeah, playing with Dorothy. That's my little fidget one. Yeah.
Nice. I didn't know what he was talking.
Playing with Dorothy, does that mean you're a munchkin?
I'm a munchkin, yes.
Right. You clearly didn't watch our Wizard of Oz episode, did you? I haven't given my rating.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say 3.
3.
It's 80s, it's fun. It's silly. It's actually no, sorry. I'm gonna change it. I'm gonna go to 4.
That shows you the contrary, I can't even say it, contrary killer that she is.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to 4.
No, just
I can't.
I'm
doing it a disservice.
Yeah,
I'm doing a disservice by giving it a 3. It's definitely a 4. It's definitely not a 5, but it's definitely a 4.
I think Lee is the most generous marker. Our ranker, shall we say?
Everything's been a 5.
Well, to be fair, it's like, do you want to come on any of these shows? And I'm like, I fucking love this movie. I want to come on. And
yeah, that is true. We are catering very much to you when you're here.
Yeah,
actually,
I don't think I've come on anywhere. It's like, I hate this film. I'll come and talk about it.
We've got a plan next month. Now we haven't even got that one sorted yet, so nearly at the end of the month. So we'll have to think.
Shit, yeah.
Yes, but yes. So yes. Anything else about the Running Man you want to add there, lovely people?
Nah.
Oh, I have got a fact. Like, I watched an interview of Arnie talking about this. The tube thing on the sled. They actually got put in a sled for that, and they went down this super fast tube for about 10 seconds, and there was like no safety things like set up or anything. And Arnie's saying like it was absolutely terrifying. You're like flying down there, and you've got a camera in front of you to get your reaction, and also like running away from the car. It's like, if I fall over, I'm dead. Like, there's nothing to stop that. And being told to just stand in this spot, and when the bike flies over, just jump out the way. And it's like,
Yeah.
what if I'm late? So,
That's the thing. You can't be.
No.
yeah.
Like
You
reflexes.
got
It's got reflexes of a cat. But yeah. Oh, definitely a lot of different fun stuff. Like, I really, as I said, it was a fun movie, and again,
It is.
we're hoping to do more movies like this at times.
Yes.
Just have a bit of fun and a laugh. So, what's happening tomorrow? I know you've already told us.
Oh yeah, I've already told you this, but tomorrow, dropping on the Nerdy Up North YouTube channel in the morning, we're going for now. I'm calling it an 80s horror, but it's not. It's actually 90s. It's 1990, and it is the wildly crazy Frankenhooker. This is. I want to say it's one of the funniest episodes we've done, but it is just an hour and a bit of me laughing continuously, trying to take this movie serious in some way or another.
Right, okay. So is it funny in Laha, or just funny that's like, oh, this is so bad, it's so funny?
No, it's weird because, like I said earlier, I really want to look at the 80s horror. I feel like it's an amazing decade of horror movies. Like I always Sleepaway Camp is one of my favorite horror movies, and I never really put it in that genre of 80s because I always class it as a genre of slasher, but it is in there, and that one is terrible, and it really fits that 80s theme, and that's what I want to look at more in monsters this year. And what better way to start it off with Frankenhooker. So that goes up tomorrow morning. The audio for that episode and this episode, because I believe these are the only two that are out.
Yes, that's correct.
Won't be going up on Tuesday. They're actually going up on Monday.
Monday night.
Monday night after 6 o'clock, because that's when I finish work. The audio will be up earlier than Tuesday mornings, and then we've got Lee taking over Tuesday.
Yep. Then we've got Top Grumps. So what's Top Grumps this week, Lee?
So this week is Gizmo from Gremlins, and me, Chris, and Donna talk about that. And obviously Donna's on, so you know that she's going to be a bad influence on us because Donna's
because it's Donna.
Yeah, she's Donna. There's no other way to explain it.
Because it's Donna. Is the age-old question of what happens when you piss on a gremlin asked?
Yes, we did reach out to some members of the Discord to give their opinions on what happens. And some people have also done videos of what happens if you piss on a gremlin, which is amazing.
Oh, this is going to be so special. So when does Top Grumps go out?
Tuesday at 1 p.m. And the audio will not be uploaded because
it's
you
a
guys
series.
hate us and want to keep us in our place.
Oh, hey, you have a web series, own it.
Yeah,
love it, own it. Yeah, if you are watching us on YouTube, please remember to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode. Just to rerun, Monsters on Monday, audio up on Monday, Top Grumps on Tuesday. What else is out this week?
Potentially we might have an episode of Gigs, but again, that is to be determined. We do on Sunday next week, we are starting our first of the Star Wars chats. So we do have Jake and Joe, the two double J's, coming in to talk a bit about the wars and how they got into Star Wars, what they love about Star Wars, what Sammy loves about Star Wars, and I'll tell you about what I love about the Star Wars as well.
Yeah.
So, because we had such a fun and it was like very effortless chat in the charity stream about Star Wars. So we thought we'd kick that off, see how it goes, see if we can upset a few people in that fandom for a little while. And then
why not? They upset me. So some payback time.
So payback. So next week is Star Wars. So yeah. So that's going to be fun and interesting. But yes, so after I finish now, like I say, please check out a few things. Like we've been trying to update the website. So again, this is one thing I've mentioned the Discord, but any listeners or anyone part of the Nerdy Up North community that has an interest in writing or writing articles or like even like say nerdy stories, we are going to be creating a section on the website, so you can send me a message or send an email to info@nerdyupnorth.co.uk. Like I said, just put your name, and you can either ask to me to contact you to get the writing, or send us the writing, and we'll create a section where we'll publish your writing on the page, so you could say you're published on the internet. It could be quite fun, could be quite interesting.
Yeah, I think it's going to be brilliant, a full-on community page, because there is so many creative people out there who don't have that opportunity or to be able to put it somewhere. They've got all this work that they've done because they love being creative, but they've got nowhere to put it. I love that. Yay!
I think we've already got some waiting to be uploaded as well, have we? If Jake's review of Street Fighter from the 90s is going up.
I think that's good. I think there's we're busy creating the sections. There's a few articles there. I've just finished Sammy's one, so if you click on Sammy Bryce, her name, it'll have the 2 articles that she wrote for the page. There's a few articles I wrote which I need to take out the sections and put on the main page as well. But again, we can put your picture on the page. It doesn't use Sammy's as an example, or if you want us to not add an image, if you've got say you want to keep keep it unknown, it's entirely up to yourself. But again, it's just trying to give back, or get the community kind of something that they can look back and say, yeah, I wrote something and it's up on a website.
And just a little nun history. That's how we started.
Mm-hmm.
That's all we intended to do. This Facebook, this YouTube, everything else that goes with it wasn't even talked about. That's all we were going to do.
Yep, 4 years ago.
Look where we are now.
Still going. Still clamoring on. Still surviving.
Still clinging on.
Right. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Stay nerdy, everyone.
Bye.